Hello and welcome to the Dream Team Professor podcast. My name is Scott, and in this episode, we're looking at the top defenders to target for Game Week 1 Sun Dream Team. Now, we are going to start off with the premium defenders at the 5 million to 5.5 million category. But I do want to start off the video by saying early doors, you don't get that much budget on Dream Team. You start with 50 mil and you can sort of build up your budget as you go along. The way I like to play this game usually is by starting off with more of a budget defense and putting my budget a bit further up the pitch. So I'm not expecting to have many of these options in my team. By all means, you can, but I will have videos also on the top midfielders, top attackers, and I sort of lean towards having more of my budget tied up in those forward positions. Just to caveat this starting off. One thing I do look at for these top defenders is, can they get you the extra points? It'll be a theme throughout this video as well, but by extra points I mean the bonus points, the attacking returns, tackles, shots on target, things like that, because it isn't just about clean sheets on Sun Dream Team. So that out of the way, I'm going to go with Porro as the best premium option to target from the beginning. So he isn't actually at the 5.5 million. He's at the £5 million price point. He was the second overall defender on the game last season with a 5.8 average. 51 bonus points put him joint top out of the defenders for bonus as well. And he's doing all those things that I just said. So he's getting bonus points. He's got 4 goals, 10 assists last season. So again, gets the attacking returns. I actually didn't have him as high up on this list. He does have Burnley at home in the first fixture, which is a prime fixture to target. And now with Thomas Frank, I do think they're going to be a much more reliable defence to back compared to under Ange last season. But something that is interesting to me about Pedro Porro from now on is the fact that Maddison now looks like he has got a serious injury. Now, I mentioned in my top midfielders to target video just a few days ago that I thought that we were probably all maybe sleeping on James Maddison a little bit this season, because he's always been a really, really good Dream Team asset. But of course, I've cursed him with the jinx there. But with Maddison out, Porro is likely to take the bulk of set pieces, corners, free kicks. That's only going to help his bonus and potential attack and return. So I think he has jumped his way to the top of the pile there. So Burnley, Man City, Bournemouth are his fixtures. So obviously the City away game isn't going to be great, but Spurs tend to do okay against Man City. So I'm going to put Porro up there as my first target at 5 million. Now Vardiol 5.5. I'm going to cover these premiums, but I'm not saying to choose them. I just want to give my opinion on some of them and then maybe point you in a bit of another direction. So Vardiol, obviously brilliant option. He's been historically really, really good on the Dream Team as well, for similar reasons. So 5.5 million, 6 goals, 2 assists. We know he can pop up with a goal. He's got attacking returns in him. 35 bonus points is good as well. But what is the Ait Nori signing going to do for Vardiol this season? So Vardiol, even last season, he played 34 games at left back, 21 games at centre back. With their sort of injury crisis, he needed to fill in a fair bit at centre back, and he's a really, really good centre back still. But I don't think it's as good for Dream Team point scoring having Vardiol at centre back. And in the Club World Cup, Ait Nori obviously had signed ahead of that, and in most of the games, Ait Nori was favoured as that left back in those games. So I think Ait Nori is going to start the season at left back. He played all 3 of their sort of key knockout games in the Club World Cup at left back, which I think means Vardiol is going to play the bulk of games at centre back this season, which I think makes him a worse option. And I don't think you can justify picking Vardiol at 5.5 when Ait Nori is there at 4.5, who's another really good option who we will talk about when we get to one of the other slides. But personally, I think I'd rather go for Ait Nori at this point. I know Vardiol's probably a little bit more nailed, but I can't see a scenario where, well, it's Pep, so actually there is always a chance. But I feel like Ait Nori is going to start the season and be their regular left back. Daniel Munoz, 5.5. Now, he's been fantastic on Dream Team for, I think, the past 2 seasons, or was it a season and a half? But 5.5 million. He's in that most expensive category for defenders, and probably quite right to be priced that way as well. 14 attacking returns, 6 goals, 8 assists, which same amount of attacking returns as Porro. But a bit different to Porro is he's only got 12 bonus points for the season. He gets his extra points from a crazy number of tackles. I think he had the second most tackles, I think it was, out of defenders. But he is so attacking that he gets these shots on target points, the big chance created points, and obviously a fair few goals as well, with 6 goals, 8 assists. But Crystal Palace are right down the bottom for predicted clean sheets at the moment. They have got a pretty tough start to the season with Chelsea away, Forest at home, and then Villa away. So I I don't like this opening lot of fixtures for Crystal Palace. I do think they're a really strong side. I'm just not quite sure where I'd want to go for Munoz at that price, because if he isn't delivering and he isn't hitting those attacking returns or clean sheet points early doors, you are probably going to lose a bit of value from him. So yeah, fourth bottom for clean sheets. I've been using this fixture ticker from Fantasy Football Hub, their fixture analyzer, because you can sort it by most chances of a clean sheet. So I've opened the sort of fixtures only up until sort of the first 3 game weeks. Now, they are primarily, they do cover all of the fantasy football games, but this is a FPL fixture analyzer. So it doesn't account for the Carabao Cup taking place in game week 2, obviously, but we don't know the draw anyway, so that wouldn't be factored into sort of any of our thinking at the moment, because we don't know who anyone's going to play. But yeah, as you can see, Crystal Palace down there, fourth bottom for predicted clean sheets. Chelsea away, Forest at home, and Aston Villa away. So I've sort of been having a little look at this because it gives you the sort of team defensive strength as well, with those stars down the side, and then the predicted clean sheet points. But yeah, that's something I've been using, their fixture analyzer. I am working with the Fantasy Football Hub this season. Myself and the guys at the Dream Team Tonic, we write some articles for them on Dream Team. So they've got a load of pre-season content coming out. They've also got some top managers who have joined that are also doing team reveals and articles going into the start of the season. So they are expanding a bit into the Dream Team community. But primarily, if you're an FPL player, you might want to check it out, because they've got things like points predictions, AI team ratings, AI transfers. So there'll be a link in the description below if you do want to sign up and have a look at the Fantasy Football Hub. Then next, I'm going to put Frimpong at 5 million into this conversation. Now, I wasn't entirely keen about having one of the new Liverpool defenders on this list. So Frimpong and Kirkez obviously have both come in. We do see the Liverpool lineup on the Friday night, which is a big help if you're not sure who's going to start. But my kind of opinion was, even if Frimpong did end up starting, I wouldn't still be that certain that Frimpong wouldn't start the first game and then get an early sub for Bradley. Could work in the favour if it was sort of after 60 minutes and they were keeping the clean sheet, but I did think there was a risk there. Or potentially Frimpong plays the first one, you get it right, but then by game week 2, Slot decides that he wants to switch it around because Bradley is also a top fullback. But what has changed, as it seems like Bradley isn't fit now. I think he's going to miss out. He's expected to miss out, I think, for this Community Shield match at the weekend. So it seems like Frimpong's going to get a free run at the start of the season. I think he probably is the sort of better player out of the two, but yeah, I do still think Bradley will take minutes from him. So I felt like it was a bit of a risk at 5 million, but it seems like Frimpong is probably going to be safe for the start of the season. But obviously just keep an eye on it. But 12 attacking returns last season. I'm expecting a similar sort of output to Munoz in terms of points. Now, I don't imagine he's going to get lots of bonus. Looking at the way his stats look, there's not a lot of sort of dribbles, interceptions, that kind of thing. It looks quite heavily shots on target, big chances created, goals and assists. So I think it's probably going to be a bit more the Munoz mould, which again is going to probably yield quite a lot of points. So I think Frimpong could be a shout, but again, in my opinion, I don't want to spend this much money on a defender early doors, even though Liverpool do lead the way most of the time for sort of clean sheets, and they did have the most clean sheets last season. I'm not going to throw any of my Arsenal players in here for this 5 million or 5.5 million category yet. I just think it's a little bit too much to spend. Now, on this list, I've mostly gone for sort of attacking fullbacks, or Vardiol, if you consider him moved to centre-back, being a bit off-putting. But the likes of Saliba and Gabriel, while they can pop up with goals, at times, I feel like you're relying a little bit too much on just clean sheets from Arsenal, and they haven't been the most reliable for clean sheets in pre-season. I know it's just pre-season, but I've seen a few things that do worry me slightly. about the defence. So I'm going to leave the Arsenal defenders out. Comment below if you are going to be starting with some Arsenal defenders. Premium defenders at the 4 million slash 4.5 million category. So this is where I've stuck Ait Nouri in at 4.5. So I definitely think he's going to be worth the £1 million saving on Vardiol. So 42 bonus points last season at Wolves, which was over 1 bonus point per game for him on average. 5 goals, 7 assists. So 12 attacking returns. He was only beaten there by Mateus Nunes, actually, who is now his teammate, who's had a position change. We'll speak about him as well. Started all 3 of the Club World Cup knockout matches. So I think that it is safe to say he's in Pep's best team at the moment, and 2.45 tackles per game means he's going to get the extra tackle point regular. He's going to get the extra bonus point regular, you'd like to think. The only thing I feel like could happen is playing in a Man City team opposed to playing in a Wolves team. I imagine he will have less tackles to make and probably will have more of the ball. But maybe he makes up those extra lost tackle points in attacking returns and extra bonus being on the front foot a little bit. 5.6 average, only topped by Munoz and Porro. So I think Ait Nouri is going to be a really, really good player at Man City. I've stuck Cucurella in there at 4.5 as well. So 7 goals is the most of any defender last season. 7 goals, 4 assists. 17 bonus, so he's not really anywhere on a par with some of the guys in the last slide or Ait Nouri for bonus, but not terrible. And 1.82 tackles, so quite close to the 2 tackle per game. So we'll pick up a few tackle points here and there. Crystal Palace at home, West Ham away, and Fulham at home looks to be a really nice defensive start for them. It's just whether or not you think there might be a little bit of a hangover from going all the way in the Club World Cup, I think there. I'm throwing Lewis Skelly in at 4 million. So I'd said I didn't fancy the sort of Arsenal centre-backs in Saliba or Gabriel. Well, Gabriel's only just come back from pre-season, played a little bit of the game yesterday. But Lewis Skelly has been involved sort of the whole way through. Has been a little bit shaky at times in pre-season, but everyone is sort of getting rid of the cobwebs. But if you look at his points, if you looked at my team reveal earlier video or first draft, I had him in there because his points are actually represented a bit low typically because he has had a price change from last season. So last season he was down as a midfielder, which meant that he didn't get any of the clean sheet points the rest of the Arsenal defence got, which would have worked out to be an extra like 40 points. I think I worked it out. He's also really good for bonus or pretty good for bonus. 30 bonus points, which is sort of 0.76 per game on average. So quite close to that 1 bonus point per game. And you can actually see that. So I was sad enough to have a little look at the stats in our pre-season game against Villarreal yesterday because I just noticed that he seemed to be taking on a lot of players. He seemed to be getting fouled an awful lot. I sort of tallied it up, made a couple of interceptions as well. I think he was fouled 7 times. I worked it out that he would have got maximum bonus in that game. He had 94% passing accuracy as well as being fouled all those times and doing all those dribbles. So I do think that he is a really good option for getting bonus points. Calafiori he did pick up another injury in pre-season. Arteta seems to think that he might be okay for the weekend, potentially, but at the moment, Calafiori's been so unreliable with injuries. I don't think they're going to rush him. So I think Lewis Skelly, that is his place for the start of the season. So I think Skelly for that first fixture against Man United away. You've got Leeds at home. I think those 2 fixtures will be fine for him. Then it starts to get a bit horrible in terms of Arsenal defensive fixtures with Liverpool away from home. Drop a like, subscribe if you're not already, and let us know in the comments if you've got any of these defenders so far. Budget defenders, we're moving on to the budget picks, 3 million to 3.5 million. Now, this is where it gets interesting to me. I am looking to have sort of a number of players around this price point and below. I just like the way my team looks a bit better. And also something to mention about some of these players, they're coming from teams that are a bit lower down in the table, which actually means they're more likely to have a double game week in game week 2. So it's Premier League in game week 1. Game week 2 will be Premier League plus Carabao Cup for the teams that aren't in Europe this season. So a few of the names on this list, while they may look to you like they may not score as many points over the first 2 weeks, for example, some of the premiums, there is a chance that they'll have an extra game to make up some of those points. So it's just something worth considering. The first one isn't going to be one of the players that has Carabao Cup. It's going to be Jed Spence at 3.5 million from Spurs. Spurs obviously in the Champions League after winning the Europa League. So I'm putting Spence in there because Udogie is currently injured. and is going to, I think, miss the start of the season. We will also see from Spurs that Super Cup lineup. So that's quite close to the start of the season. So you will get a better idea of how they'll line up. But again, I just think under Frank, they are going to be a bit more defensively sound. Spencer's obviously been in and out rotating with Udogie at times, but last season he had 36 bonus points, which put him above that 1 bonus point per game average, 1.67 tackles, so fairly close to 2, but not over. And then 2 goals, 3 assists is an okay return for someone that wasn't sort of starting every single game. But when he did start, he was quite noticeably good for bonus points. So I quite like Spence, a really attacking player as well. It might be short term, but I just fancy starting with Spence over the likes of Van der Ven, who's really highly owned, which I don't particularly like, but I know it is a safe pick. I prefer Romero over Van der Ven, but out of the three, they're all the same price. I prefer Jed Spence to start the season. A bit more attacking, a few more routes to points, in my opinion. Then we're going to go for Diouf, the new West Ham signing at 3 million. So he's an interesting one. I'm always a little bit wary about these new signings, how well they will adapt to sort of the Premier League. But I thought I would sort of tune into a bit of West Ham's pre-season just to see this guy in action, and he does look really, really attacking and really, really exciting. I looked on FB Ref again. I think that's a really good site if you're just trying to get a bit of an idea how a player might score. I think the way they present it makes it quite nice to look at. But 4.21 shot creating actions, which means he is all out attacking, and 2 shots per 90 as well. That's not shots on target, so it's not what you'd get the points for, but shot creating actions and shots. He's getting in some really, really good positions per 90. Assists. So he got an assist in pre-season for Jared Bowen, I think it was, and he could have easily had another one. I think he put a ball in that landed to Bowen, and then I think someone else finished it off. But yeah, really, really attacking wing back, and Potter just keeps talking him up as well. So I do think he's going to start the season. And at 3 million, I think that looks a nice price considering it's Sunderland away in the first game, which I think is an okay fixture. I know West Ham aren't the best, but I think that's a nice fixture. Chelsea home, Forest away, they're not so great. But again, we can wait and see what that Chelsea game gets paired with in the Carabao Cup. And maybe he plays twice that week. 7 goals, 4 assists last season, playing left wing back in 39 games for Slavia Prague. So I think he's an exciting one. Someone a bit more reliable, someone we're a bit more familiar with is Williams from Forest, 3.5 million. So Forest are just a steady defence, aren't they? They're defensively sound. Williams has got 2.45 tackles per game. So again, he's likely to play over that 60 minutes. He's likely to get the point for tackles and a 0.49 bonus per game. So sort of roughly every other game he's picking up bonus. 19 bonus points last season, which isn't too bad. But it's Brentford at home, Crystal Palace away, and then West Ham at home. So I think they were quite high up. 6th place for predicted clean sheets this season across the first 3 fixtures. So yeah, I think Forest, you know what you're getting, don't you, with their defence. So I think Williams, nice shout. Jake O'Brien at 3 million. So 6'6". I think Everton are strong defence. He's got attacking threat. So the season before he signed for Everton, he had a really good amount of attacking returns. So I kind of thought that he would be a good shout straight away that season. Wasn't really fancied by Dyche, but then started playing quite regular towards the end of the season, albeit maybe due to a few injuries in that Everton defence. But he has been playing the bulk of pre-season. Again, Everton haven't looked the best in pre-season, but I would back him by the time the season starts to be back to being solid. He can play at right back. He can play at centre back. Leeds away in the first game, Brighton at home in the second, and then Wolves away in the third. I do think these are good fixtures for Everton, and they will have a Carabao Cup in Game Week 2 alongside Brighton. So I think O'Brien at 3 million could be like a nice cheap price into that defence. I would feel more secure about the clean sheets if Branthwaite was available, but I'm not sure how likely it seems at the moment. De Kuiper, 3 million. So I kind of put this on a similar par to the Diouf one, where he's actually been a bit of a bandwagon online, especially when it comes to FPL. 4 goals, 7 assists, loads of attacking threat. I was a bit wary of this one as well. I just wanted to make sure that he sort of was playing in pre-season because I don't really trust There's something about Brighton managers and rotation that I always seem to get stung. So I wanted to make sure he was sort of playing, and he does seem to be starting the bulk of games. He does seem like he is going to start as their left back or left wing back. Still think I prefer Diouf slightly. So 4 goals, 7 assists for De Kuiper last season in the Belgian league. I think he's a good shout though, still at 3 million. And then Gusto, 3 million as well from Chelsea. So strong defence. We already mentioned how nice their fixtures look. I think it's a cheap entry into a strong defence as well. The only slight worry as I have is about Reece James. Obviously can come in and play right back. At times he was playing in midfield, James, in the Club World Cup, but there's a little bit of a worry there for me. I really don't want to pick someone that ends up not playing. So maybe we wait and see what they do in their very small amount of preseason games. But I don't think I can start with him. I'd like to see if he starts first. Collins from Brentford. Now, I know a lot of people are down on Brentford after losing Norgard, after losing Thomas Frank, and after losing Brian Mbumo, but I think I don't think it's going to be wholesale changes for Brentford. So they've sort of promoted someone from within the club. I think they're probably going to play in a similar fashion. I trust them to be the sort of team that, like, every time they sell someone, they seem to replace them quite well. I feel like they'll probably be a bit more of the same. And Collins was really good last season. So 9 attacking returns, 2 goals, 7 assists last season is ridiculous. I didn't really seem to notice that during the season, but looking at the stats this season, was quite surprised. And he does really well for bonus points as well, Collins. Scored a goal in pre-season from a nice Coyote cross, who we'll talk about in a minute, but he could be a nice shout at Brentford. He's also just been made the captain. Down to the 2.5 category now. Hear me out. You get what you pay for when you when you shop this low, but I do think there are some serious, well, people that we should be considering still, just to allow us to put some of that budget into some of the bigger players. So I've currently still got Coyote 2.5 million in my team. Now I think there is a little bit of risk still there because they have got Hickey and he is a top player as well, but it does seem like Coyote is going to start the season. He was on loan there last season. Only played 12 matches towards the end, but they did then go and take up their option to buy him. He's just an exciting player. He's quite attacking. He's got a crazy long throw on him. So I saw him in the Man United game literally switching from being right back all the way to going over to the left side of the pitch to take these monster throw-ins into the box, which they've got some real attacking threat with Collins and some of these other players. It's basically like having a corner at times. Had a really nice assist in that match and also a really nice assist in pre-season for that Collins goal that we just spoke about. A really nice cross. So I just think he's an exciting player. I trust Brentford a little bit more than a few other people seem to at the moment. So for me, he's in at the moment. I just think he could be value at 2.5, but I've mentioned they have got options, and maybe that means that he's unlikely to get both the games in game week 2 potentially. Van der Berg, 2.5 from Brentford as well. Not as exciting, but I think probably a bit safer for 2 starts in that double game week, or just starts in general, minutes in general. 15 bonus points, nothing really to write home about. Forest away, Villa at home, and then Sunderland away in game week 3. I don't think they're terrible fixtures. I do trust Brentford. Dunk, 2.5 million. So again, nowhere near as exciting probably as De Kuiper. But I feel quite confident they will start. He saved a 0.5. Fulham at home, Everton away. 2 nice opening fixtures. Again, we don't know what the double game week fixture will be. And then City, game week 3 at home. Not the best, but just think 2.5 million. The main thing you want to do is make sure they're starting. Keane, 2.5 million. So I mentioned Branthwaite obviously makes Everton a much, much better defender, but Keane has been playing in pre-season. If Branthwaite isn't ready, we'll keep an eye again on the latest news. But if Branthwaite isn't ready, I think Keane at 2.5 could be really nice entry into that Everton defence, but it does come with risk. He does feel like one that you might just only get away with for sort of 1 or 2 game weeks. That is everything for this episode. So let us know in the comments if you are going big at the back or if you're going for a few of these enablers. If you're after some more Sun Dream Team content, I'm going to link next the Dream Team Tonic podcast. Myself and Ben chatted through enablers at all the different price points on our latest episode. That is out now. And if you did want to get more involved in the Dream Team game this season, we have got a Discord community for our Patreon members, always chatting Dream Team on a daily basis. There's some really top managers in there as well. So there'll be a link in the description below for our Patreon. YouTube channel members on the Dream Team Tonic podcast also get access to the Discord. So loads of other great features. You can check it out on the website, but do consider signing up and becoming a Patreon member for the new season. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.